lockdown, all of us.
Very nice. Yeah. Thank you so much for setting this up.
No, no, sir. We are grateful that you were able to come here.
No worries. I'm just starting the video for some time. I think I'll have to switch it off because of the network issues.
Sure, sir. No problem.
So we'll wait for some more time for people to join in.
Yeah, maybe another 2-3 minutes,
Sure, no
and
worries.
then yes, okay,
Sure.
yeah. Today, everyone is joining in a little bit late. Normally, in my classes, be it a live class or an online class, if you ask the students who've joined,
Mm-hmm.
anyone who's a minute late, they get a punishment. It's based on
Okay.
entertainment punishment. You can do anything to entertain the class. Today,
Okay.
they
So
know I will not be asking them that, so all of them are taking a little bit more time.
no, we can continue with that pratha of yours. No worries. The ritual should continue.
The ritual should continue, yes. What
Yeah,
do
yeah,
all the
very much.
students say? Please don't put yourself on mute, all you students. Mr. Shresht Shakti,
So who is the most entertaining person?
the most entertaining person is Madam Shabnam.
Okay.
Shabnam?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Shabnam.
Yeah,
She sings very well. She does very good mimicry. She dances also very beautifully.
Wonderful. Yeah. So we can hear you sing too.
Yes. Shabnam, why
Ma'am,
don't you start something today?
ma'am, please don't do that.
We also have Komal, who is also very good at mimicry.
Yeah, we can. By the time we are waiting, I think you guys
You know,
can
Komal, I'm sure all of
showcase your
you can
talent.
hear me. I'm sure all of you can hear me. सिर्फ अभी सब लोग थोड़ा बहुत बोलने वाले मैम नेट का इशू था आवाज नहीं आ रही है and all this thing, right? Yes. Sanket also really does good mimicry and Kuldeep plays the guitar very well. I think he's just joined in. Kuldeep, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. And Jayashree sings very well. She has a very, very beautiful voice. Yes, Madam Jayashree.
Wow.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Awaz I. Okay, so I think we can start, sir. All of them will keep joining in. No problem.
Perfect.
So
Perfect.
I'll give a brief introduction today.
Just a second. I'll put my phone on silent
Yeah,
so
sure.
that it's. Yeah. Go ahead.
All right. So I welcome CA Kamlesh Kaltari. He's the director of Siddharth K. Parekh and Company, that is SKP. All of you have heard of that company's name. And he is currently heading the division of transfer pricing. Plus, all of you would be knowing this that he has over 13 years of experience in the field of transfer pricing and international taxation. He's also worked at PwC for almost 9 years, or I think over 9 years. But the one thing that really amazes me about him is that we all have noticed, all the directors of companies, CEOs of companies and all, they all write books, but it's always related to their profession or finance or business or maybe other things like economy. He's written a book on how to enjoy life to the fullest. I think every student here can relate to that. Pakka they can relate to that. And plus how to reconnect with the near and dear ones. So I would like to start with knowing what inspired you to write this book and what is this book about?
Thank you so much, Ishika, for the wonderful introduction.
Yes.
I mean, for the longest time, I have always been introduced or introducing myself with my qualification or my role with the firm which I work at. Like you just mentioned that okay, he's Kamlesh, chartered accountant, works with SKP, has worked with SKP, PwC as well. So
Right.
this is what we generally get. We say meet. Meet Ishika, who is ACCA, or meet Anjali, who is pursuing GMAT, ACCA, CPA, or CFA. Can you believe it? Sometimes the exam that we pursue defines us or becomes our identity.
Right.
I think we all are much more than that. So today, let me attempt something different and try to introduce myself as a pick and choose, loving father of two, a proud husband. Sorry, a loving husband, son, brother, passionate friend,
Right.
nature lover,
Right.
rural man, uh, patriot, uh, experimental cook, and uh, and a constant seeker. So
Okay.
these are certain parts of my identity that I celebrate. Remembering these important pieces or valuable pieces always gives me a joy.
Right.
Now coming back, so thank you for this opportunity to help me gather myself and recollect my identity.
Okay.
uh, Coming back to your question, what inspired me to write a book, that
Hmm.
too, which is not a technical subject.
Right.
um, it's a interesting piece actually.
Hmm.
I'm a adventure freak, and I like traveling, connecting with near and dear ones. So also organizing trips. So being a travel enthusiast, the urge to travel to Leh Ladakh was there for quite some time, and for some reasons, the actual travel was prolonged for so many years.
Hmm.
And suddenly, in 2019, I had the opportunity of doing that trip. But uh, after visiting the place, there it's a बोलते हैं ना कि अगर धरती पे स्वर्ग है, जन्नत है, तो यही है, which is it's the beauty or cinematography, picturesque beauty of the place is shown in Bollywood, and described in songs everywhere. So
Hmm.
uh, of course there's the natural beauty of the place, riding a bike with your close friends. The impact of that is completely different. um, After I came back from the 10-day trip, I was all gaga about the trip, to my friends, family, whoever I was meeting in office,
Hmm.
outside office. So the snow-clad mountains, the beautiful valley, green landscape, uh, awesome Pengong Lake. Sorry, it was such a out of the place, out of the world actually. So it was one of the most picturesque place on earth. After coming back, I don't know, I told someone that I can now close my eyes with, because I've seen enough. It was that beautiful. On Saturday, after second Saturday is working for us. So after work hours, I was going back to home, and suddenly I returned back to office, because there was the urge to write something about this place. And uh, I was not into blogging, not I was not into the habit of writing at all, other than articles, technical articles, as you mentioned. uh,
Right.
so so I was fortunate to have a friend who was working late that day in office. So I said that, okay, I feel a dire need to write something, because uh, this thought is cropping up. So he said, okay, you write something about your trip, and then we can try and put it on a blog. So the kind of emotions I was going through,
Hmm.
so I started putting pen to paper, rather my fingertips to the keyboard, and
Hmm.
the entire flow started. So
Right.
it was so structured that I ended up writing 5 pages without thinking too much. And that stuff was so good, according to my friend, that he said, it's a book material, I think you should continue writing. uh, and that's how it happened. So there was too many ups and downs, or there were too much masala in that, even before the actual journey started. So how the planning went about, what was the what efforts I took in planning the itinerary, how did I eventually finalize 7 of my friends or the co-travelers. So there were too many ups and downs, and there were too many twists and turns also, till the actual journey happened. So there was so much to be told, that 40 pages of the book itself is before the actual trip. So
Okay. Wow.
I was actually, uh, it was destined to happen, so it was all free flowing. So I
Oh,
didn't take any much efforts.
that's great.
And
So for those of you who don't know, he's written a book on the trip of going to Leh. He'd taken 8 of his friends, and it was a road trip to Leh. And the book is all about the experiences that he has experienced there, or on this trip, the other experiences. How many of you people have been to Leh among the students?
मैं बहुत छोटा था जब गया था.
Acha. What about others? Himang, what about you? नहीं गए हो तुम में से म्यूट पे हो. The ones who are trying to answer, all of you are on mute. What about our other faculty members? Panikar, Gayatri Panikar, have you been to Leh? Okay, I think there's a technical issue there. Yes, you can continue. So
yeah, so it was a life-changing experience that I had during the trip. As I explained, navigating through the backdrop of snow-clad mountains, Epiling Valley, passing through the deadly, valleys. It's quite risky. One side you have the snow-clad mountain, rock mountains, and the other side it's a deep valley which is very risky. इतनी बड़ी खाई है और वहाँ पे छोटी सी पतली गली है. So and it's a two-way thing. So, the bikes are going from one side, cars, vehicle, army trucks are coming from the other side. So it's thrilling at the same time, as well as it is risky, or it gives you butterflies in your stomach, for one who is scared of heights, or the twist and turns, the uh, uh, you know uh, the road leading to Khardungla Pass is very dangerous. So if you don't pay attention while driving, or you are not expert in riding, it's not for the faint hearts. Uh, so you know all that aside, the beauty of the place aside, I actually went through a lot of life learning experiences through that trip, which if we have time I don't mind sharing, because that's that's my objective of writing that book, because I wanted to pass on this to the readers and inspire them and encourage them to come out of their comfort zones and
Mhm.
explore something new in life.
Yes, definitely.
uh, so uh, I think we all would agree that we are, of course you guys are most of you are students, but your brothers, your parents who are blessed to have well paying jobs, and we are uh, staying in a secured environment. We have, or their parents would have settled businesses, paychecks are coming in, we are staying in a safe environment and secured environment. So what happens is, we don't appreciate all this that we have, but we still crib in life.
Right.
uh, but there were certain instances I would like to share, and then you will appreciate whatever we have, and we learn to be contented in life.
Right, sure. Definitely so. What
um,
were those
so
experiences?
I've just I'm just thinking aloud. One was a blissful experience. So at 12,000 feet, we have Gurudwara Pathar Sahib, which is
Mm,
a few kilometers. It's close, just before Leh. Uh, it is it's a beautiful story on how the Gurudwara was constructed in the memory of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. So there
mhm,
was a demon, and that I am not getting into that story, but like all places of worship, this place
mhm,
also had a divine and blissful atmosphere or aura around it. So
okay.
we visited, we offered up prayers, and then we spent some extra time soaking in the divine presence or divine atmosphere. So after our prayers, we decided to have langar,
Mhm,
and this Gurudwara is operated by the army personnel.
mm,
So the army operates the entire Gurudwara.
mhm,
So they cook their food in community kitchen, and they offer langar. So we decided to have langar there.
okay.
So you know. Like every organization, army also has designations, levels, right? So
Mm,
you have the basic level, then you have commander, superintendent, or
right,
whatever levels you call it. So
right.
uh, you know irrespective of their levels, everyone, was serving food to the visitors, irrespective of their caste, creed, or economic status, ethnicity, anything. So
Right.
this uh, this itself, gives you a feeling that humanity comes first, and everyone was being served food with utmost love and care.
Right.
So, and with too much happening in our environment nowadays, there's too much of negativity. I'm sure everyone would have been seeing what is happening in the US. There's so many racist things being said. There's riots going on. All
Yes.
this apart, once you visit there, you get a feeling that okay, there's something beyond caste, creed, economic status, which is of negligible value.
Right.
So that was one experience which I thought, we all know that, but we don't appreciate in our daily lives. But when you are in a blissful environment, with that kind of an atmosphere, your subconscious mind gets active, so you
Right.
observe these things as well.
Right. Right. Right.
Then
Yes.
the second instance was the journey of contentment and borderless love. I have named it. So while we were riding throughout Leh Ladakh on
Huh.
bikes,
Huh.
we have lot of every 50 meters we had army personnel stationed to ensure the tourists are safe, because it's a uh, what you say, uh, little active area where war zone kind of a area where firing happens. Militants are, because the Pakistan border is very very close by, uh, and there are at times there are unfriendly neighbors who do firing at the civilians also. So while we were heading to a place called Turtuk, which is just 2 kilometers away from Pakistan, it's on the LOC, just close to the LOC. So there are a lot of iron bridges that we are passing through. I am sure everyone would have seen the movie, Shah Rukh Khan movie Jab Tak Hai Jahan. So he was diffusing bombs on those iron bridges. So that's the kind of bridge I'm talking about. Those are
Right.
plenty there.
Right.
So we were passing through those, and there were two families who were walking by, one mother with two kids and all that. So while passing through that, we took a break and we wanted to interact with the locals. So we stopped by, and we was while interacting, we observed that uh, they were barely stressed about anything in life. So their faces, they were playing, the kids were playing while they were with their mother, but their faces had that divine intervention, and they were supremely happy with without any stress of future. So their mother was saying that okay, a relative of ours just passed away because of the firing that was done from the other side just few days back, but still they were happy, with no visible stress on their faces, and they were in their own world. you know that if we put ourselves in that situation where, sorry, Ishika, am I audible? Is
Yes.
there
Yes. So you
network?
are audible.
Okay, so I can continue with the video, right?
Yes. Yes. Definitely.
Okay. And guys, also tell me if I'm boring, huh? If I'm dragging too much, please feel free to say that okay, it's boring, let's go to the next topic.
I
Nice, sir. Nice,
request
sir.
all the
No,
students to
sir,
please
that's not
Sir,
boring.
unmute
it's fun.
yourself.
It's fun.
No, sir, it was like fun.
Okay. So put ourselves in that situation where you don't have visibility on your future. uh, you know uh, there is risk of life. You don't know when the weather is going to get harsh on you, because suddenly there is snowfall and you are cut away from the normal population, and there's bare necessities are also not made available, because the road connecting to Srinagar is all cut off for 6 months. It's closed. So
Right.
still, and attacks from unfriendly neighbors also. So
Right.
as I said earlier, we are all blessed to have a fixed source of income, well-paying jobs, settled businesses, stay in a secure environment. We don't appreciate all that. So it explains these things. When you observe while traveling, I always believe that meeting new people while traveling helps me embrace life. So unless you see what are the challenges outside or how people are living with limited facilities, you won't appreciate what you already have. So
Right.
this is this was an enlightenment to me, which is journey of contentment. So in spite of so much uncertainties or so much problems in their lives, they still didn't have a visible stress on their faces and were very happy
Right. Right.
with their lives. So
Hmm.
and I also mentioned about borderless love.
Hmm.
When we visited Turtuk,
Hmm.
which I mentioned, so beyond that, there are two villages
Hmm.
called Farnu and Tahang, if I
Okay.
recollect correctly the names. Yeah.
Okay.
Uh, so these are twin villages. These were
Hmm.
twin villages and very
Hmm.
much part of India till 1971. So
Okay.
if everyone knows, there was India-Pakistan war in 1971.
Right.
So the war started somewhere on 16th of December 1971,
Hmm.
and suddenly on okay, sorry, before that, these were twin villages. Twin villages are very close by, so people used to have their homes in one place, and they used
Hmm.
to have fields where they used to do agriculture or
Hmm.
go for work
Hmm.
into the other village. So on 17th of December 1971, suddenly, one village became Pakistan
Hmm.
and one village became India and came to India.
Right.
So they were, till date, there are members of the same family who are living in two different countries.
Oh, okay.
So
That's
people
interesting.
who had gone for work
Right.
continued to stay there because
Right.
there was a border, and that
Hmm.
immediately became part of Pakistan, and
Hmm.
there was military and all that. People were
Hmm.
not allowed to come back. So
Right.
these two villages were divided by borders.
Hmm.
Extremely sad, but true.
Hmm.
So again, flashback to our lives.
Right.
We stay with our immediate family members, relatives. We are,
Right.
with our, because of egos, we are not talking properly to some family members, or we distant ourselves from, for some minor issue or whatever.
Hmm.
But imagine this situation where same family members, brother and sister who got separated, or
Hmm.
a father and his kids
Hmm.
who got separated. They are staying in two different countries,
Right.
but still the longing for each other is intact.
Right.
Whereas we stay
Yes.
so close, but
Hmm.
we've lost the longing, bonding for, nowadays there are too many nuclear families for whatever reasons. But
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
that that appreciation is missing from our life.
Right. Right.
So
Right. Right.
this is what I call borderless love.
Okay. Right. I think Gayatri ma'am wanted to come in. You're on mute, Gayatri ma'am.
Kamlesh, it was very interesting hearing you. I
Hi,
just
ma'am.
want to ask you one thing. Your
Sure.
trip, I know it has made a big impression on you.
Yes.
What change has it brought in you as a person?
uh,
Is the change going to be lasting for some time, or will it only be for some time when your trip is reached? How do
Very
you
good
perceive its
question.
effect on you?
I think it's a superb question, ma'am. Person, I'm a people's man. I value relationships a lot.
Hmm.
um, and the sole purpose of writing this book was I wanted people to enjoy life to the fullest, look for those lighter moments in life, not get stressed out by difficult things, reconnect with near and dear ones,
Hmm.
pick up some new hobby, explore new places, venture out. Of course, with COVID around, I would not want anyone to travel now, but coming back to your question, I always had these pieces as an intrinsic part of my identity. But after this, I think I'm more conscious, and I make a conscious effort to let go of minor things which won't matter after few days or few years. But uh, in end, we all have to ensure that as humans, if we are able to support and help each other, we should always do that, because this is what matters in the end. And all these materialistic things, worldly pleasures, are going to stay back. I might sound philosophical, but to my age, but this is the fact. I think the joy that you get by sharing is unprecedented, and it is the best according to me. I mean, you know you have two, say, tandoori rotis, but you have the hunger only for one roti. So it's up
Very
to us, whether we want to waste that or share that and spread the joy.
So you feel we should find our happiness in very small things instead of going in search of exotic one, right?
Absolutely. And this lockdown, I think, is all about that. I'm sure everyone has not been able to step into malls for shopping, watching movies. Whatever luxuries that we have been running around are still, we can still live without them.
Right.
And simple joys of these things, like playing a ludo or snake and ladder, or people have gone back to bare necessities. And of course, with the COVID situation around, people, a lot of people are losing their jobs, there are pay cuts. So everyone is sitting tight on financials, and they are only spending on the bare necessities. And I think this is an eye opener for everyone, that you know uh, there are people struggling, and there are a lot of people who are wanting to support, and they are actually supporting.
Hmm.
So the times of crisis, I think humanity always awakens. And this trip has had a great impact on me, and also all the fellow travelers who were with me. uh, you know of course, we had a good time. Apart from that, these are the things that were key learnings, which I wanted to share the message to all the readers. uh, the book is all about uh, non-fictional, it's true event. Of course, there are funny and light moments. So I have not put any mirch masala in this. And also, it is not philosophical. uh, I think you guys should pick it up and read it for the fun of it. And you'll also see the bonding that we all share as friends. And the friends that eight of us are from different background. uh, like three of us were schoolmates. We reconnected after a long time, and few of them were from my old organization from Bangalore, and few were my distant relatives. So it was a blend of everyone, and how everyone gelled with each other was amazing. And the camaraderie that we had amongst ourselves is also funny. And it's like a thriller kind of a thing, where people would want to know what's happening next. So I've tried my best to have all those. At the same time, I have not deviated away from reality. So
Right.
Gayatri ma'am, to answer your question, yes, uh, it has had a good impact, and it's going to continue till I have my conscious.
Very good. I'm
See,
very happy.
I would just want to say one thing, that whatever you have said, we are hearing in the newspapers and all, for COVID. But reading your book or hearing your experience will help all the students and everyone, to accept it and at least to try it out much better. Sure, Leh is going to be on my bucket list. I'm sure about it.
Please do
The
that.
other faculty member.
And at the same time, if people don't like traveling, I ensure that it's going to be a actual virtual trip for you all guys, because there are good close to 300 pictures with the beauty, which is well intact, along with the description of the places.
It's a great paradox. We are talking about trips, but we are all locked down. I think all the students would also definitely want to plan a trip. All of us, in fact, with friends, go out. It's been really long, but all of us have been locked down.
Yes.
सर मेरा एक आपसे सवाल था मैं सर
हम बोलो
हाँ
बेटा।
खंडेश्वर बोलो।
सर आप कौन सी पोजीशन मतलब आप स्टूडेंट्स अवस्था में गए थे या मतलब मैच्योर मतलब नौकरी होने के लगने के बाद गए थे आप पूरा जो
अरे
घूम
मैं
के
6-7 महीने पहले गया था। सॉरी, अभी
Okay.
जून में है, राइट? सो 1 साल पहले ही गया था। June end
Yeah, I also wanted to ask the
2019.
same question.
यस सर, नहीं तो क्या बात है, क्योंकि सर इतना दूर जाने का मतलब सर घूमने का आदत तो मुझे भी है सर। मैं पुणे में रहता हूँ ना अभी टेम्पररी, तो मैं पुणे का हर एक कोना सर पीएमटी से ट्रैवल करता हूँ मैं।
वाओ,
और मेरा भी अच्छा एक्सपीरियंस है कि मैं जहाँ जहाँ घूमता हूँ ना सर, वहाँ का थोड़ा सा वर्णन वगैरह करके मैं पोएम्स वगैरह देखता हूँ।
वेरी नाइस।
ओके, तो मैंने ना अब अभी मैं घर में हूँ ना 75 टू 70 डेज हो गए मैं घर पे हूँ। तो मैंने घर बैठे बैठे मेरे हर एक एक्टिविटी के ऊपर मैंने पोएम्स लिखी है मेरे।
अरे
Yes,
जबरदस्त।
he is an amazing writer. He writes poems in Marathi and Hindi. Very
जबरदस्त
good
है।
writer. Every day, I think he does write almost 1 or 2 poems.
खंडेश्वर, आई थिंक वी शुड कनेक्ट ऑफ लेट। अभी 15-20
Yes,
दिन
sir.
से मैं भी पोएम्स लिख रहा हूँ।
Great.
यस सर, ऑफ कोर्स सर।
Yes. What about other students? Lockdown में कौन सी hobby तुम लोग की आई है? Yes, Hemang, tell us.
I have just one question that how that in this hustle tussle we are all running in the mad race, like that we are just like going into offices like 9 to 7 job, 9 to 5 job. How the atmosphere in Pune, for example, is different from there in Jammu Kashmir, where barely offices open, barely schools open, barely people walk in out of their houses in order to play, in order to just roam around. We just here just gather, we just love to go movies and all. How that persona that they share with here in Pune and in Leh, how they
Very
were
good
different.
question.
शिवम, राइट?
Hemang.
Hemang. Okay, sorry, I missed the name.
Yeah.
See, here I think we all are spoilt for choices. हम लोगों के पास बिगड़ने के लिए बहुत सारे ऑप्शंस हैं। हम लोगों के पास इधर इतने शॉपिंग करने के लिए मॉल्स हैं, एंटरटेनमेंट के लिए इतने सारे ऑप्शंस है, रेस्टोरेंट्स है। वहां पे नेचर है उनके पास खेलने के लिए। एंड हम लोग स्कूल कॉलेजेस में पढ़ के लाइफ के लिए लेसन सीखते हैं, वो लोग एक्चुअल इम्प्लीमेंट करते हैं, फिर लेसन्स अपने ऊपर आजमाते हैं। सो दे आर लर्निंग फ्रॉम लाइफ, फ्रॉम देयर डे टू डे एक्टिविटीज, दैट इज व्हाट दे लर्न। और एक मैं इंटरेस्टिंग किस्सा याद आ रहा है टू आंसर योर क्वेश्चन। श्रीनगर से ले जाते हुए वहां पे ढाबे रेस्टोरेंट्स बहुत ही कम है चप्पे चप्पे पे। और जैसे ही मैंने बोला कि 6 महीने बर्फबारी होती है तो पूरा 6 महीने बंद रहता है, वो अगस्त के बाद बंद हो जाता है। सो इट ओपन्स ओनली इन एंड ऑफ मई टू सितंबर तक चलता है, उसके बाद बंद हो जाता है। तो लोगों को अपना राशन 6 महीने तक एडवांस में प्लान करना पड़ता है। तो और वहां पे होटल्स और ढाबे कैसे रहते हैं कि उसका घर वही है और उसी में वो चलाता है, राइट? तो कभी कितने टूरिस्ट आएंगे लोगों को अंदाजा नहीं रहता है। तो जहां पे हम लोग एक ढाबे पे गए, हम लोगों ने ऑर्डर किया, खाना वाना खाया, तो ऐसे ही बातों बातों में ओनर से पता चला, तो ये सब इंफॉर्मेशन पता चला, तो वो बोलने लगा कि अरे हमारे लिए कभी इतना मुश्किल हो जाता है कि अचानक से टूरिस्ट आ जाते हैं खाने के लिए और अलग अलग चीजें मांगती हैं, तो हमारे पास राशन का स्टॉक लिमिटेड होता है। बट हम लोग उनको मना नहीं करते हैं, जो बोलते हैं हम लोग बना के देते हैं। बट बाद में हम लोगों को दिक्कत होती है, सिर्फ चावल बचे रहते हैं, ना सब्जी ना दाल कुछ भी। तो फिर हम लोग कई बार चावल पानी के साथ खाते हैं। तो this also brought tears in my eyes. I was like अरे यार। और ऐसा भी नहीं है कि ये लोग बहुत ज्यादा चार्ज करते हैं, कोई आया किसी चीज का रेट बढ़ा के हम लोगों ने ये कर दिया, वेरी नॉमिनल डिसेंट रेट्स। बट स्टिल अतिथि देवो भव का ये जो बोलने में हम लोग बोलते हैं, बट एक्चुअली ये लोग ग्राउंड पे इम्प्लीमेंट करते हैं। किसी को बोल सकते हैं कि भाई हमारे पास नहीं है स्टॉक, आगे जाके देख लो, बट ऐसा नहीं है। वो उनको दिक्कत होती है, फिर भी वो उतने ही प्यार से सबको खाना खिलाते हैं बिना आगे का सोचे। बट बाद में उनको तकलीफ होती है, वो फिर भी दे लिव विथ इट। हम लोग हमारे घर में कितने ही लोग होंगे कि कोई ये सब्जी नहीं खाता, वो नहीं खाता, आज ये दूसरा बनाओ। I mean, घर पे बहुत सारे ऑप्शंस होते होंगे, राइट? तो शिवम, सॉरी हेमंग, तो प्रॉब्लम क्या है कि हम लोग बिगड़े हुए हैं, वो लिमिटेड ऑप्शंस में वो असली में लाइफ जी रहे हैं। और इन लोगों को अगर अपॉर्चुनिटी मिल जाए बहुत आगे निकल जाएंगे. So that's what this government also has tried after, converting into a union territory. A lot of
Yeah.
people are getting jobs. Otherwise
Yes.
they are left to, agriculture, which again is seasonal.
Hmm.
Otherwise they get lost.
True. Gayatri ma'am had a question.
No, Kamlesh, you shared something which is very much happening now because of COVID. You were telling us that they couldn't have some provisions. They have to stock provisions for 6 months, despite which they were such a good host. We are going through the same thing now as mothers and cooks and homemakers. There are certain items not available. Sometimes somebody tends to throw a tantrum, we have to put them in place. Itna to
Absolutely.
mil raha hai, tum log kha lo. There are people who can't even afford stuff or cannot get stuff.
Yes.
So what you said, we could very much relate now in this COVID situation.
I'm glad COVID happened. I might sound pessimistic, but I'm glad COVID happened.
True. Very true.
Because we don't walk the talk. We talk about being a responsible citizen. We are nature friendly. World Environment Day we celebrate, all for the media and
All the talks.
and for Instagram. This generation is too much on Instagram and all that. But actually, you should explore the rural areas and see how people actually believe and travel on cycles. Their health is intact. There is less pollution. They grow their own vegetables, eat their own vegetables, and that's how you have to be close to the nature. And with city life, what we have doing is we are destroying our own homes, and then taking the repercussions of all this in way of uh, climatic changes, COVID bolo या जो भी बोलो.
Yes, definitely. Snigdha, I think you wanted to come in. Please come in.
Yes.
You raised your
Hi,
hand.
I'm Snigdha. So, in regard to what you just spoke about, so I just came back from a recent trip to Netherlands in Europe, and it's a developed country, but they live by the same ideals that you spoke about. So everybody cycles to work, everybody does their own chores. So in spite of being a developed nation, in spite of being in one of the top 15 economies, they've still stuck on to their roots. And I think, yeah, like what you said about rural India, I think those values can still be carried forward even in developed economies and in city life as well.
Very
Yes.
true, Sigand. We've actually moving away from our roots and getting influenced by Western culture. Uh, if we stick to our roots, in olden days we had joint families. The value of joint family itself was to inculcate those culture, those roots, and important parts of living.
Right.
Nuclear families, I think, with no one to guide around, all this is there was nothing like depression in olden days. Yeah, I mean,
Hmm.
now we read stories every now and then, educated people, very educated, talented people, film actresses or celebrities committing suicide. I mean,
Yeah.
what is this all about? Yeah, I mean,
Right.
uh, I think we are deviating from our core principles and values. So if
Right.
we stick to our roots, I'm sorry, I am still sounding philosophical, but just got carried away
Yes.
and
I think
wanted to say this.
Anjali. Yes. Anjali also wanted to share an experience. Please come in, Anjali.
Hello, sir.
Hi, Anjali.
Yeah, like 4 years back, even I went to Kashmir with my family, and there are many gardens over there, and there was one fountain kind of thing, and it's a thoda bahut lake type reservoir, and like there was a trip of 9th or 10th standard kids over there, and they were just jumping into the lake and they were playing, and I was like we don't do that here, like in the fountains if we see, we just click photos. Then my mom said, see, they don't have any reservoir here to play, like we can go to seas, and rivers here are like they are not cold, but there they have rivers, but those are very cold. So I learned from that incident that they respect nature's thing, like we don't do that here. Like we have everything, but then we just cry on things, and we don't respect what we have, and they don't they don't have any reservoir to play and they were playing in lake. Then I thought, yeah, like even we should do that over here.
True.
Very
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 good
valid,
experience.
very valid. I think we all, it's on us. How do we want to live our lives, and what is that we want to leave for the future generation? That is more important. So
Yeah.
unless we preserve our nature surroundings through our lifestyle or our daily activities, a change is required.
Right.
Unless we change the way we behave with people around or environment, I think things won't change. It's time, high time that we take these learnings from the lockdown and implement in our daily lives, so that we have something to be proud about. I mean,
Hmm.
just imagine, if uh, okay, if you are given something by okay, you walk into a restaurant and you are given a table which is in a messy state, or the chair, everything torn off, just by the person who visited before you, how would you feel? So that is what we are doing for the future generations. We are, whatever we are getting, we are messing up with the nature and giving it to the next generation in a more spoilt condition, by polluting it more, having less trees, cutting them off, and it's completely on us. How do we want to live, and what is that we want to pass to the future generation?
True. Very true. Absolutely. Gayatri also wanted to share something. Gayatri, am I audible to you?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Bolo.
Yeah. Hello, sir. I'm Gayatri. Sir, of course, I agree to your point that all that you said right now. Can we say, sir, ki we should reduce our wants and stick to our needs, so that things are more easier for us to gain, or whatever. We don't spoil our nature. And one more thing, sir. So, do you encourage the foreign investment that we are having right now? Because you see, lots of the companies around the world which were actually set in China now, because of all these things which are happened, they're shifting their plants and everything to the India. And I think even all these things will encourage more and more industrialization, which will again lead to the pollutions, as we have discussed. So somewhere I feel ki even such activities should be stopped. I mean, I don't know much about it. The foreign investment, of course, there are the masterminds planning over there. But then I also feel this will lead to certain kind of pollutions, because we Indians don't need all these things. I mean, all these goods at that level. So we can stick to the thing which we have, or which we can produce, or we can produce in our own country by handlooms, or you know by anything else, not with the machineries or this big industries.
Yeah, valid point,
Right.
Gayatri. But what has happened is, with so much development, that has happened over so many years, it'll take some time for us to move back to some alternate ways of working, or better ways of producing things, which would be less harmful on the environment in which we live. Um, Industrialization is required because it creates a lot of job opportunities. Not everyone can be a farmer or get into agriculture, uh, because the land is scarcity, there's scarcity of land, there are limited means. And of course, a lot of people, younger generation, a lot of my friends who are IITians, engineers, and who are settled abroad, have left their well-paying jobs and ventured into community farming, organic farming. So a lot of people are taking interest and settling in rural areas because they feel that they have had enough and they have been running around for materialistic things, and there is no end to a want or a desire.
True.
So today, if I live in a luxurious 3 bhk, I would want to upgrade it to a 4 bhk, then to a villa, then to a sea facing villa. There's no end to it. So as humans, as we progress, as we experience life, this realization comes to all of us sooner or later. But it should not come at the fag end where you cannot amend the way you live or can't do anything about it. So it is up to us how we take it and make these small subtle adjustments. अभी तीन महीने में लोगों ने सीख लिया ना कि people have been sitting wearing the same set of clothes, because खुद को ही धोना है. Everyone is doing daily home chores, washing their utensils. So they are learning all these valuable lessons in difficult times. So it should not happen that you don't help your mom or dad at their daily routines. Now because you were at home, we all are at home, we are giving that helping hand. We are realizing how much efforts are being put down by parents, especially moms, wives, sisters, on managing the household. Just helping them cutting vegetables, or at least appreciating what is being cooked and not throwing tantrums, it's great help.
Yes. Gayatri ma'am also wanted to add a point.
Firstly, I cannot see Kamlesh's face video. I don't know why.
Maybe
Ma'am,
switched it off because there's
I
yeah.
switched
Now,
it off
I will-
because my connection is a little poor, so I'm
Okay. No, you said one sentence which I agree. Except for families which have been pinched, you said COVID is good. Because I hope we all come out as better persons who get happiness from small things. Just being next to your family member gives you happiness. A working mother having a child next to her is happiness. For the child, having the mother full time is happiness. So what you said is correct, and I only hope we leave our self-centered ways and become better human beings even after the lockdown is up.
Yes, I agree
absolutely.
that COVID has really taught all of us a lot. There have been many adverse effects, adverse impacts, plus there have been many good impacts and good effects. I think at an individual level, it's changed us quite a lot. But we cannot shy away from the fact that there have been many adverse impacts, especially on the economy and on the business sector.
Yes. So
But here I can definitely say one thing, the one community or the one clan that has really, benefited from it are my students. Their ACC exam got postponed. All of them got promoted without giving exams. It's like an extended summer holiday. Yes or no, all of you? Don't know when the college is going to start. Yes, all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, मजा आ रहा है ना सबको कि extend ही हो जाए lockdown, है कि नहीं?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So on that note, I would now also like to start a little bit of discussion towards COVID. So my
Sure.
first question that's really I'm wondering about is, Kamlesh, that when the recession had taken place in the year 2008, it was observed at that time that most of the freshers had lost their jobs. Like they did not get jobs only. There was a very high rise in unemployment as well at that time in 2008 recession. So now, do you think that a similar trend is going to be seen here? It's as it is being seen here, but is it going to be a more adverse one, or is it going to be on a similar line?
Just before I get to your question, a bit of background I would like to give. The rapid outbreak of novel corona virus has not only taken India, but it has taken the world by storm.
Yes.
Emerging in China, this disease has transformed into a global pandemic, disrupting lives, crumbling healthcare systems, crushing livelihood, financial markets, and the world economies in geometrical progression, I would say.
Right.
So it has emerged as a biggest threat to the world, causing mass.
I think we lost Kamlesh. Kamlesh, are you there?
As the day unfolds and we are just getting into unlock 1.2.
Can you repeat that? We lost your voice actually in between.
Hello.
Hello. Yes. Am I audible to you?
Yes, you are.
Yes. We just lost the point in between. Can you please repeat your last point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a second. I'm just adjusting the wire.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe that caused the disturbance.
Yeah, sure.
Is it better now?
Yeah, now it's better.
Yeah, I was saying that COVID has emerged as a biggest threat to world economy, causing mass devastation of lives, the magnitude which we cannot imagine at all, and that it would it would unfold only in coming days. Once the unlock thing happens, people again will I'm sure uh, people will again mingle with each other without uh, without following the social distancing norms. The immediate impact is very hard for us to imagine, because it is unknown to mankind and it is very unprecedented. It has never happened uh, till date, and no one would have thought that everything would come to standstill, and essential commodities also would be very limited. So
Right.
so India had aspirations of growing at a rapid pace, becoming a trillion economy by 2025. The
Mhm.
GDP growth rate that was estimated was 10%,
Hmm.
but with aggressive lockdown uh, that was required to ensure safety of lives, the
Hmm.
growth rate that I'm not an expert, but what I keep reading. So what I envisage is that it has come down to 2.5 from 4.5% that it was envisaged earlier. So now with this development, the question that you mentioned, that would there be
Unemployment.
unemployment, would it increase in comparison to 2008 recession? uh,
Right.
we are, I think, in a bad situation, compared to 2008. In fact, there was a great depression that happened in 1940s.
Okay.
I don't remember the exact year,
Right.
when there was similar situation all around. So
Mhm.
having said that, uh, now everyone in their companies is looking for, is restricting their cash flows, because everyone is sitting tight on cash. Everyone is wanting to um, preserve cash, because future is very uncertain,
Yeah.
uh, and jobs will be difficult to come by, but offers will be rolled out on a contractual basis. This is my view, where I feel that instead of getting a permanent job, it would be on a contractual basis rather than on a full time basis. uh, of course, India being a consumer country, there's a lot of scope for uh, it getting back to normal and growing at a rapid pace. It would
Mhm.
be a V-shaped recovery, is what I feel. Once
Okay.
we have
Okay.
three things. Once, when we have mass vaccination,
Mhm.
social distancing norms are followed, and other once this happens, I think things will quite ease out, and job creation would not be that difficult. But
Right.
having said this, currently, the way things are, automation will gain a lot of prominence, because
Prominence.
all the companies would want to ensure safety of their employees, their lives.
Right.
At the same time, infrastructural cost would outpace human resources. So
Yes.
existing employees will continue to thrive. Uh, we are lucky to not see so many layoffs compared to Western countries, because
Definitely.
in India it is more need based recruitment compared to overseas, where they are futuristic, or they are growth oriented, and that's why they have too many people on board.
Right. Right. Right.
uh, but these employees also are going through a lot of challenges in terms of increments are on hold, bonuses are on hold, salaries are
Hmm.
deferred,
Hmm.
there is pay cuts happening. uh,
Hmm.
Coming back again, I feel for a short period there will be difficult to create job opportunities immediately. But once all this is taken care, with mass vaccination happening and social distancing norm and things getting back to normal, uh, India being a consumer country, a lot of thing, I think, compared to world other developed economies or nations, India will go at a rapid pace. pace. Also, a lot of stronger nations like are wanting to boycott China. All of them have their
Yes.
manufacturing facilities either in China or their raw materials are supplied by China. So
Right.
now there is a talk that other than G20 they want to establish G7, wherein all the developed economies want to somehow boycott China economically, and all this will lead to entire supply chain reconstruction,
Yes.
in which what will happen, all these three countries according to me will be in huge demand. One
Mhm.
is India, Vietnam, and Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. Sorry, four countries.
Okay. Kamlesh, are you there? I
Base
think
that we have.
yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Again, in between, I think there was a lag, but yes, we can hear you.
Sorry, what was the last you guys heard me?
The four countries that you were talking about.
Yeah. So India, Vietnam, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka are in a better position to absorb all this supply chain related restructuring that will happen. So all the manufacturing locations are going to be spread in these four countries, and India will benefit most out of it because India has the young population which is in working age, and the talent pool is all here.
Right. Definitely. Yes.
So it's a just catch 22 situation. For temporary period, I feel that it's going to be a struggle, but if if we are patient enough to pass through that phase, I think then nothing can stop us, and India will again reclaim its position in the global map and become the force to be reckoned with.
True. True. Absolutely. Yes, Gayatri ma'am, you wanted to say something?
Kamlesh, you used a key word here, patience. As many of the people in our group are young students, I would like to give them some unsolicited advice.
Please.
See, whenever you join any company, first of all, after the Y2K, when most of you guys couldn't have even been born at that time or may have been toddlers, there was this bubble burst of salary when every IT person wanted a fancy salary. Now, all of you will be just charting your careers, many of you. We could say that number one is don't be too greedy. Make yourself as indispensable as possible to your organization by working hard. So whatever fruits need to come to you, sounding philosophical, will definitely come to you. So instead of going through a panic mode as to will I get a job, won't I get a job, if you be positive, every one of you will definitely land a job. And how you come up in the job is again how you perform there. So be patient. Kamlesh used a very good word, patient. Go about your work sincerely, and everything will fall in place.
Absolutely, ma'am. I second your view. Of course, before getting to jobs in our student life, all of you guys are pursuing ACCA. I think patience is the key. We all need to put in our best foot forward, do our bit, give in all what we have, and be patient. The results will follow. It's not necessary that everyone will pass with flying colors. There might be situations that someone, in spite of putting in so much efforts, still doing best in their exams, but still has not been able to clear the exams. The key here is to be patient and not give up.
All of you students, definitely this point is for you, the exam one.
I don't mind. I don't mind acknowledging the fact that I didn't clear CA in first attempt.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, it's a short recap. I took 5 attempts to clear my final.
Oh, okay.
And in CA, you have campus interviews.
Right.
So they were rank holders in that interview, and who had cleared in the first attempt, and they had exemptions in almost all the subject.
Okay.
But at the end of 2 days,
Mhm.
still two of the rank holders were without jobs, and I was asked a question by four companies. I was selected by four companies,
Hmm.
and I had offer letters from four companies,
Okay.
in spite of not clearing in the first attempt. So it's not on the attempt or your rank, it's how you perform on that given day.
Right.
Very
as
true.
as Gayatri ma'am mentioned. So
Hmm.
don't give up and don't be disheartened by your marks or number of attempts or your personality. If you
Right.
are, if you have the talent in you, sooner or later you will reach the place that you are destined to.
Mhm. True. True.
So 1 2 years in your careers or in your life wouldn't matter. Don't be stressed about saying that we both started in this year, but see where he is today, where am I, what am I doing with my life. Don't be stressed out at all. 1 or 2 years in everyone's life doesn't matter. There are enough life cases of very well known people who started at retirement age. They started their ventures in their retirement age. There are people, KFC,
Right.
that gentleman started his business after going through so many failures in life, and he
Right.
started that venture around 70 years of age, and look where he's created a brand and niche for himself.
Right.
so
Right.
so I mean, there are enough examples. So don't be bothered. Be patient and do your bit.
Yes. Madhu also had some questions. Madhu, you've read a lot. She is our scholar in the class. Madhu,
Wow.
can you hear me? Madhu, I think we lost her. Madhu, can you hear me? Okay. Snigdha has raised her hand. Please go ahead, Snigdha.
So my question is, which industries do you think, you mentioned the four countries where economies would be picking up post the COVID-19, but which industries in specific do you think would benefit most? And I mean, in terms of employment.
A little louder, please.
Hello?
Yeah, Snigdha, a little bit louder.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, better.
So my question was, which industries do you think would benefit most from post COVID-19 situation?
Yeah. So it's a beautiful question. So with what has happened over the last 3 4 months, there's a lot of emphasis on digital and internet economy. So online based products or service companies will have a lot of consumer base. Plus of course, pharma industry, because of the vaccination, and everyone will start taking health as priority and seriously.
Right.
uh, tech based education company and online education firms, so basically these companies which are developing content for online education or courses will thrive a lot. Digital content, any company which is into digital content making, because everyone would be bound by social distancing norms, so there will not be any entertainment avenues to go out. So there will be sudden spike in demand for content. Digital will be in more than demand. All these Netflix, what you call, Prime Video, or so all these digital content, wherever we consume them, there
Right.
is a lot of demand for this, and people, creative people, writers, script writers, actors, they will have a lot of busy days going forward.
True.
Specialty chemicals, so basically all these disinfectant manufacturers, drugs, medicine manufacturers, um, hygiene related products will again gain prominence. So anyone who is in this domain is really bound to gain. Plus, India, as I mentioned in the beginning, India has a large consumer base. So anything in India that gets produced will be definitely consumed. More prominence will be placed on quality aspects after what all has happened. FMCG and retail will immensely benefit. Organic based foods will also have a lot of demand. Uh, FMCG definitely, FMCG and pharma uh, will be the evergreen business in India because of the consumer base.
But sir, don't you think that because of COVID and less cash in hand in every individual, don't you think that the consumer demand will actually be reduced?
Yes, reduced in the sense there will be no spend on luxuries. People will want to spend only on bare necessities. Like you'll not have. Sorry, I'm not being gender discriminating here, but all the ladies will not have visits to the parlors more often, and everyone wouldn't want to go for an extravagant meal or dinner to a 3-star 5-star restaurant. People would not go for foreign trips. People would want to explore the places in India, because of course people will not stop traveling, but they will find ways and means of doing a reasonable and efficient travel in India itself. So they, instead of taking, because all this has made an individual conscious, they would want to have less carbon footprints also. So instead of taking a flight, they would want to explore the interiors of a rural area or hidden gems that were never touched before. So they might want to experience homestay kind of an option. They might go for a carpool kind of an option.
Right. Also, sir, Madhu had a question. I think she's not audible. She wanted to know that what would be the impact on Big Fours, on other CA firms or ACCA employers like Grant Thornton and all, because obviously audits are going to continue. So how would that sector be impacted because of COVID?
I think everyone has learned their lessons, and everyone is learning to operate from a remote location. In the sense, now people have started saving data on clouds, which is accessible to their employees. So a lot of in my firm itself, I've been working from home from quite some time. We've been given access to the server. Data is being exchanged over mails. So remote, as I said, technology and artificial intelligence are going to be prominent, more prominent, and have a role to play. And it works for them also, because rent infrastructure is very expensive. Rental costs are too many. The admin, housekeeping, consumables. So if people are working from the luxuries of their home, people don't have to travel. So the companies will save a lot on conveyance. So they don't have to fetch them from home and drop them. So there are savings also, which they would want to leverage on, because they want to preserve cash for exploring growth opportunities, rather than spending on these things which can be avoided. So they would want to strengthen their infrastructure in terms of technology, by making use of technology, and remote storage will take a prominence. Like a lot of small and mid-sized firms.
Yes, sir.
All the important data is saved in the partner's laptop, which if everyone has to access, has a challenge. So post corona COVID, I think things will have to change, and they will also have to renegotiate fees with clients, because clients are suffering. Businesses have gone down, so they cannot expect that the client would continue to pay normal fees as they would be paying in normal circumstances. Forget about the hikes. Clients are asking for discounts. They are asking for discount in the fees. So in order to retain the client, they have to renegotiate the fees, understand the business realities, and
one is on the fees, the other one is they have to manage their capital in a smart way, in the sense once they bill out, recovery also has to be managed. Earlier that was least paid attention to, because there were so many assignments that used to come free flowing. Now all of them are conscious. Clients, MNCs are conscious. Only required compliance is paid attention. So there is no splurge on things that can wait. So whatever billing has happened, they have to ensure that the billing is collected on time, and they cannot afford to have unwanted expenses, and the expenses have to be kept in check.
Absolutely.
Also shift working kind of an arrangement to ensure social distancing norm, regulations or rules implemented by the government are adhered to. They will probably think of having a shift kind of working, in the sense, if people are required to be in office, they will be asked to work in shifts, because at no point you can have more than 30% of your workforce in office.
True.
So probably a morning shift, afternoon shift kind of an arrangement will have to be thought of.
Yes, definitely. True. Shivam also had a question. Shivam?
Yeah. Hi, Kamlesh sir.
Hello, Shivam.
Yeah, I have a broad question here. Like, I think every century start with new opportunity, and there is always some kind of restructuring in the economy and the whole environment surrounding. So if we consider like 20th century is all about the mass production, war and industrial revolution. And now if we think this century, and if we think this viral crisis as a new start, what do you think? Which are the industries help achieve this century success we called, or what will be this era or century about? Like if there will be a shift of power from west to east, because 20th century was all about Western world, and now I think power is shifting from Western world to Eastern world.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Good question,
Yes.
Shivam.
Shivam, very good question. And I would like to quote our Prime Minister here. So, a lot of emphasis will be placed on local. So, you rightly pointed out the shift would be definitely from west to east, where people would want to live local, behave like local, consume local, and thrive the local industry or the market. So the circulation of money or emphasis would be more on growing the Indian economy rather than going for brands or prestigious gadgets or goods. Luxury goods will definitely not be in the sight for anyone anytime soon. At the same time, they would want to contribute locally to their local vendors, local kirana stores. In cities, of course, you will see a paradigm shift on these aspects as well. Not immediately, but a lot of prominence would be, a lot of people would be paying visit to Mandai or which is that market, Gul Tekdi, right? So a lot of people would pay visits to market yard rather than going to a DMart or a Big Bazaar or something of that sort.
True.
I am not sure, Shivam, if I answered your question satisfactorily.
Yes, some of it.
Yes. Do you have any points, Shivam? Shivam, please go ahead.
Like I was asking, I have read a book. That book was named like When China Rules the World.
Right.
So it was about China, but the perspective of book was like, if you conserve your history,
You can't hear
your
you.
tradition, so that can change your future also. We learn from history, and we were known as the Hello?
He is audible. None of you
Am
can
I
hear
audible
him?
now? Am I audible now?
Yes, to me you are audible. Yes, Shivam, please continue.
Yeah. So I have read a book that called When
1 minute, Shivam.
China...
Kamlesh, can you hear him now?
No.
Yeah,
but you can
now I can.
Yes, okay,
Hello.
Shubham, go ahead.
Yeah. So I have read a book that when China rules the world. So this book about China, but the perspective of book is like when you follow your history and conserve your tradition, you can rule the world. Cause China always follow their tradition. They were civilized country, and if you take it as for India, we were known ancient Indians were known as clever people in the history. So we have a great tradition, we have a great history behind. So if we use that history, we can also rule the world. So my question was, what are the industries that can help like to India to rule the world?
I think it's a broad question. There's I cannot pinpoint any particular industry that will help India to rule the world, but the emphasis would be on Indian manufactured products, goods, uh, quality products, and as I mentioned during our previous discussion that uh, a lot of emphasis will be placed on the way our core principles that we used to adopt all this while, which we have somehow in copying the Western countries have missed all this while. So getting back to the roots and living a simple life would help. I don't mean, when I say simple life, I don't mean that we live like a saint by foregoing everything, but your daily bare necessities, whatever you need to consume, you will still consume, but in a different way.
Right,
Yeah.
definitely. Yes, Shabnam, go ahead. You also wanted to ask some questions. You've recently studied a lot also with respect to it. Shabnam? Shabnam? Okay. I think she's cannot hear us. Kuldeep?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
So good evening, sir.
Hi,
So
Kuldeep.
my question was that hello,
Yes, yes. Go
hear
ahead,
me, right?
Kuldeep.
So my question was the two questions. First is now if a business is in one kind of a market, right? So is it advisable for that business to now try new market?
Okay. All right.
And then one was you know it's now as we all would be probably relying on artificial intelligence, because after the lockdown a lot of people, a lot of things will be turning to softwares.
Hmm.
So won't that result into an unemployment?
uh,
On
mm,
the one hand, technology is going to be used a lot, and on the other hand, absolutely, even the people are going to lose their employment. Like, I would just like to put one point here that in the public health sector, India is actually very, very badly hit. There, the ratio is like 3 doctors is to 35 patients in the ICU. So now the only option is that you either get the robotics part to go ahead, like to help with the nursing part and all. So in this way, in the long run, there can be a situation where unemployment may again rise. Do you feel so, Kamlesh?
uh, I mean, there are other avenues also, in the sense that we have to be smart enough to reinvent ourselves. We have to gone are the days where a particular specialization was sufficient, but uh, unless you reinvent, have a new additional skill to your place, you would be valued. Otherwise, if you tomorrow, technology will certainly replace if you become redundant. So that applies to everyone, in the sense, um, a practicing CA who is specialized only into tax, say who was filing individual tax returns or company returns. Nowadays you have software companies who have developed a compliance software. So that software is a one time investment with a promise of upgradation or changes whenever the law changes or regulations change. So MNCs would be more interested in investing that one-time investment, making that one-time investment, and the job of the CA becomes redundant. What happens if someone is rigid, is going to be replaced. So someone has to anticipate and ensure, and be flexible enough to have more skills so that he is valued. Now, if that CA would have also learned how to audit things, because audit is also a mandatory thing, and there's no software who can do an audit. Of course, you have sample checking and with the help of technology, but that is a part of it. But auditing as a process itself cannot be replaced by technology. You can use technology to be efficient at it, and ensure your speed at which, or the quality of the deliverables, or the quantum that you handle is multifold when you use technology. So the answer to the question is human intervention along with proper use of technology is the answer to this. Unless you are in an artistic kind of a profession, technology cannot replace you. Shivam.
Kuldeep.
Sorry, Kuldeep.
Yeah.
So everyone has to be flexible enough to ensure with the changing times. They are ensuring they are also learning, relearning, and unlearning to acquire new skills.
True. I think this is the time. It is the best time for innovation. Like there is so much of import from China, and if we ban it, then obviously I think there will be more industries that can definitely come up for the purpose of innovation, like even small things related to nuts and bolts, just making them. So I feel a pandemic can lead to different kinds of innovation as well.
And I believe all these adverse circumstances, India has a vast culture and history of fighting adversities and overcoming challenges by flying colors. So Indians best work when they are when their back is pushed to the walls. I would link sports to it. Whenever there is a critical session, then performance of our cricketers goes straight up. Otherwise they get complacent and they don't think out of the box. So these are very interesting times, and if we blend ourselves with what is happening around, you will see there are so many opportunities. Now in these 3 months, a lot of people have ventured so many new skills. They are cooking at home, culinary skills. They can start a venture of home deliveries, or venture into, I'm not saying everyone becomes a cook, but I'm just giving one thing as an example. Just by observing the problems around, you would have observed that this health has gained so much prominence. So just to give you an example, a lot of us consume refined oil. Now back in olden days there was something called kachi ghani, which is cold pressed oil, where oil was extracted from groundnuts using the wooden technique. So now refined oil is very injurious to health, but our ancestors used to use cold pressed oil by extracting oil. And the other day one of my friend, I was discussing with him, he is venturing into this idea, and he is wanting to extract oil using natural process, and that oil is very expensive. Is around 1 liter would cost around 350 per liter, but refined oil you get at a very cheaper rate. So people will start valuing all these aspects and would be ready to pay more because there are health benefits attached to it. So in these times there are a lot of opportunities. Only thing is we were lacking the infrastructure and the platform to connect these two things. Now with this pandemic, I think people have figured out to reach to the masses even during the lockdown.
Right.
So there is no dearth of opportunities. I think it's only one has to be conscious enough, smart enough, and willing to change. That is the key. There would not be any job difficulties, provided you are valuable, you have necessary skill sets, you will still be employable.
Right. But like along with difficulties in the job sector, do you feel it's going to be not a good time for investments like stock markets and all? Most of these students, they do invest in stock markets. So I'm sure all of them would also want to know this point. Is it a good time to keep the investment, disinvest, or
Don't tell me they are investing their parents' money in the stock market, is it?
you should be asking all of them about that. We have Shivam definitely invests a lot. I know about that. Yes, Shivam?
Yeah, ma'am. Not a lot.
But yeah, quite a lot, you can say.
But if you're taking this as a gambling, then I would ask you
No,
to
no,
stay
sir.
away, unless you know the fundamentals.
Yes, sir.
You know,
Actually,
because
I follow Warren Buffett on this, and I have a question about that.
Yes.
Like he's constantly selling its stake. Well, actually, he's selling from airlines and all that is that we can get, but also from some other companies, he's selling his stakes and he's sitting on a cash pile. So he thinks like people who follow him think like there will be another downturn, or there will be like you said earlier, like there will be a V structured recovery. But
Right.
some people also says that there will be a W structured recovery also.
And some people also say that this time it's going to be an L-shaped recovery. There are like normally in economics that's what I had learned. There are three types of recovery: U-shaped, V-shaped, and L-shaped. So this time they say it might be an L-shape that we'll just go down and it's going to remain there for quite some time.
It can be Nike swoosh also.
Yeah.
Ishika,
Yes.
L shape will happen only when there is no vaccination coming anytime soon.
True.
So
True.
if we envisage the vaccine to come, things will get normal pretty soon.
Right.
But if the vaccine is taking too long to come, I think the sentiments will also get hit and people will be depressed and all that. So it will have multiple ripple effects. In that case, I agree with you. Things will be very difficult, and forget growth. It will be difficult to sustain. So that's where L shape thing will come into picture. But there are so many companies claiming that they are in the advanced process of human trials and successfully releasing the vaccine. I think by September, October, we should have a good news on it, and hopefully Pune Serum Institute of Pune is working very hard and has gone ahead with AstraZeneca. I think we are quite positive of that development. I'm not expert, but whatever I know, I am just sharing on this platform.
Right. Vaibhav also wanted to add a point. I think it must be related to stock market because he also invests a lot, right, Vaibhav?
Go ahead, Vaibhav.
Yes, sir. I want to ask, sir, because one of the most sector affected from this pandemic is banking sector.
Yes.
Whenever such pandemic or such crisis comes, banking sector is most affected sector. We can see the history. In 2008, also financial crisis, the banking sector is most affected sector. What do you think, according to our government activities, what do you think government should do to support this sector? Because this sector supports the whole economy and the Indian growth also.
Absolutely. And plus with the collateral free loans that they have given to the MSMEs, which was
Yes, sir.
definitely required. But now it's like there are going to be many MSMEs who may not be able to pay the same. It's going to be a pressure on the government and on the bank to receive that payment from the government. It's something similar to waiving of loans of farmers.
Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.
So, see, government has done enough, whatever was in their bandwidth to release, I think, 20 lakh crore, to boost the economy. And they did that in 4-5 tranches. And there were so many RBI measures to support MSMEs, NBFCs, banks also. The interest rates at which RBI lends to the bank also was relaxed a bit. To promote so that they can survive these difficult times.
only time will tell. No one can predict how what will happen, or what can be done more. In the hindsight, everyone can give their commentaries on this should have been done, that should have been done. But in these unprecedented times, I think our government is doing whatever best they can, irrespective of so many natural calamities happening. We had that Nisarga thing,
Amphan.
we had something in West Bengal, and there is enemy at our doorsteps. There's too much happening on India China border. So there are so many things which they have to deal with. Of course, they have to ensure there is a fiscal deficit also is in check. So in order to boost the economy, all the sectors, they have done their bit. In fact, on the companies front also, on compliances, they have extended the due dates, GST returns and all that. So whatever for measures they feel to ease up the pressure in these difficult times, they are doing. One thing they could have done best was to ensure cash reaches the needy, is what I feel could have done. But they know the best, or they would be knowing their limitations. We can't comment much on that. So they are taking enough reforms with so many economists on their reach, or for guidance. I think only thing, once money comes back into circulation, I think the economy will revive itself, because it's a huge consumer base.
Yes, but again, I think it's going to be a vicious circle, as all of us have read that the government has cut the budgets of defense, of Ministry of Home and other sectors. So when the budgets are cut, the demand is definitely not. It's going to affect the demand also a lot. Like for the MSMEs and all, I think the tenders from the governments were the major source of their income. So maybe that part is also, I don't know how can we ever create demand now,
Absolutely.
or stimulate the demand.
No, but I don't know who asked that question. Someone asked, saying
Weber.
that industrialization, a lot of companies, because of supply chains, manufacturing operations will be set up in India. So will that not create a bad situation for India? So in fact, it's a golden opportunity for India to tap on this situation, and new companies wanting to set up their manufacturing base here in India will create a lot of job opportunities for the people, which again will be a welcome bonus. People will be employed again. There will be revenue generating activity in India, money in circulation. So we are hopeful that because of the China debacle, India should gain the benefit, the results of which will be not immediately visible, but over a period of 1 year. A lot of companies have started moving their operations from India. A lot of Japanese companies that I know have shifted their bases and are in advanced talks of setting up operations in India. So that's a good positive move. So government is also ensuring that they make necessary amendments to the laws and make it business friendly, because no company would want to set up operation in India if setting up operations or doing business in India is difficult. At the same time, they need to ensure that local players are also not impacted with a lot of foreign competitors coming in. So it's a catch-22 situation, which they are doing a balancing act, and hope India is back on track and grows phenomenally.
Definitely. Do any one of you have any other question or any other opinion that all of you want to share? Shabnam, I think she has texted. She had a question that how will the companies, they were not prepared to sustain this loss. So how will they be sustaining? But Shabnam, I think government is taking many steps to ensure that the small enterprises, they do not really suffer too much, like the collateral free securities and all. And yes, Sanket, you've raised your hand. Please go ahead.
Sir.
Sanket?
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, Sanket.
Yes,
Go
Sanket,
ahead.
you are.
Tell us.
So, sir, I wanted to ask, like, sir, we have so much time and now we are at home. Sir, is there any course or that or software that we can learn and also that we can add to our resume?
I think here speaks the scholar of the entire batch, the entire class. How many other people, right, Sanket?
Yeah, Sanket. I think there are a lot of skill sets that we can think of. It actually depends on uh, the passion or what field you want to get into. If you are more interested in numbers and in the financial field, probably you can take a course on stock market. You can take a course on artificial intelligence. There are a lot of courses on data designing. I forget the term. It's related to data designing, making meaningful interpretation of the data. And I am sorry, I forgot the name that is being used, because data these days is the new oil. So anything related to artificial intelligence, making use of technology relevant to your field, you should go for it.
Absolutely. Anyone else with any question or any opinion? Or all of your doubts have been solved?
Ishika ma'am, it's Simran here. Did sir
hello.
mean data analytics or something related to that?
Yeah, data analytics and artificial intelligence. So no, I was talking about there's something called data designing.
Designing. Okay. Okay.
Okay. Right. Anyone else with any other question?
Yeah, ma'am, I have one question.
Bolo.
So, sir, what do you think about carbon pricing and carbon tax?
Carbon pricing and carbon tax.
Yeah.
Sorry, I haven't done a bit of research on that. I am as knowledgeable as you are. I have limited knowledge on that aspect. Carbon pricing. So you whatever carbon footprints you save, that is being resold to someone. Carbon credits, you mean, is it?
No, it's like countries, developed countries like Canada, UK, they price something like toll, or for companies like oil producing companies that they imply some amount of tax on them for carbon they are generating.
Correct. So yeah, I get your question now. So what happens is, in order to reduce your carbon footprints, depending on how much carbon how much carbon footprint you have, you either get an incentive or you have to pay a certain amount. How that is priced, I'm not sure. So all these developed companies definitely have carbon credits also. So depending on your carbon footprint, you get certain credits or incentives or benefits from the government.
Okay.
Like a frequent traveler would get free miles, right? On spending so much on your credit card, you get points. Similarly, you get on limited carbon footprint, you get carbon credits and incentive. Government incentivize that.
Right. Yes.
Okay. Because I also think that it can help government to generate revenue also now. So
Yes,
if
it can.
there are some families like they have 2, 3, 4 cars in a single family.
Yes.
Like if government charge extra toll for carbon they are generating, it can generate revenue also.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Shivam, you can actually post this suggestion on the PMO website as well. And you can post it as a comment as well and write to the PMO as well. Normally, you do get a reply. I'm saying it out of experience because even I have given my suggestions there. That's why.
Okay. I'll do that now.
Definitely.
Fantastic.
Yes. So I think none of us, we have any other questions. We can conclude the session. Kamlesh, thank you so much. It was wonderful. And we are all grateful to you for coming here and telling us especially about the book, that it's really going to be very, what do I say, I don't have words, but yes, definitely it's going to be like we all would want to go to Leh, and we all would want to definitely go now for some trip with our friends.
Thank you, Ishika, and all the listeners for patiently listening. I hope this was this added some knowledge, or I spoke sense, if nothing else.
But definitely, we all shall be definitely reading your book, taking some inspiration from it, and getting inspired to definitely live our lives to the fullest. That is what is required. That is what even COVID has taught us. So definitely.
My pleasure. I just have
Kamlesh,
one.
it was very nice interacting with somebody who has so much of maturity with not so much gray hair or ears or lot of maturity. Very nice speaking to you.
Thank you so much, Gayatri ma'am. I just have one last message for the listeners.
Yes.
Just don't freak out. Get out of your comfort zones, normal routines. Do not build any boundaries around you. So sky is the limit. If you give in the effort, definitely you will reach the required destination by putting in the hard work.
Definitely.
So that's the small message I had. And on the book front, it's my pleasure. I would love if all of you guys pick up the book, and definitely you all will have a virtual tour of it. I'll post the name of the book in the comment section so that you can find it on Amazon. It's both available in hard copy and soft copy. And I'll just 1 second. I'll
So
put
the name of the book is Tenu Main Le Javanga. It's the
So
journey
I
of
just
8 people.
the book is in English, but I just wanted a apt name to it. So I thought this name does justice, that I want everyone to visit Leh,
Right.
and of course virtually through my book, and pass on the message that I had. I'm just
Definitely.
sharing the link. Thank you so much everyone for the patient listening. It was wonderful interacting with you, Gayatri ma'am. Ishika, thank you for arranging
No, sir, we
this.
are very grateful to you. I'm very grateful to you that you did take out a lot of time for us and you did give us this amazing session. And I'm also thankful to all the students who joined in. Thank you so much for participating, all of you, reading about it and coming. It was good.
Thank you everyone, and
Thank you, everyone.
I wish everyone all the best for exams and huge milestones in life.
Yes.
And we'll stay connected.
Definitely, definitely. Yes. Thank you all. Thank you, sir, once again.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you everyone.
Bye.